All right, so today is Wednesday, August 26th. This is the end of day review for the live trading room. What you see in front of you is the 5-minute chart of the NASDAQ 100 futures using the adaptive entry system. And what we do in the live trading room is we follow the signals on the adaptive entry system as they present themselves, guiding us through a sequence of higher and lower moving signals. So we focus on the NASDAQ 100, but the adaptive entry system can be traded on any stock using options. It can be traded on most any future contract that you choose to trade. And it's very simple to identify the signals. Green vertical bars are designed to go long, or if you're trading options, buy a call. Red vertical bars are designed to go short, or if you're trading options, to buy a put. The labels on here just indicate what type of a trade it is. You've got momentum trades, you've got continuation trades, you've got consensus trades, and then we've got trend bias trades that identify the beginning of a new trend. Now today was kind of interesting. We've been really in a rising trend the majority of the day. It started at 9:20 this morning, so that's 10 minutes before the regular market session opens. But NASDAQ futures trade 23 hours a day, so we could take advantage of that opportunity to get in, and it ran from 9:20 until it ended at 12:45. A little bit of a choppy period there just for a few bars, and then we resumed, headed higher, and then we got into a little bit of a pullback retracement. So it's been an interesting day, and despite the fact that we continue to move higher, some days we have more cycles within the day, moving higher and lower. And all of those patterns, whether it's just a continuous running trend or a series of cycles, offer us an opportunity through the adaptive entry system signals to take advantage of those and take profits. So what I want to share with you here is the performance tracking spreadsheet. So I'm going to start at 7 o'clock in the morning. Many of you like to take a screenshot of this or review it in the recording between 7 and 4. And I cut off today. The last trade that I entered was at 5:30. So, no, 3:30. Sorry, 3:30 Eastern. So that's a screenshot of it. Now, I've got a couple of other things in here that I'm tracking. They don't add into any totals yet, just some other things that I'm starting to track. So I'm not going to explain those just yet, but some other things that I can code into my tracking and evaluate the performance of those down the road. So what I'm going to look at here is the daily summary. There are two primary categories that we track. I think you know this by now. We track taking the trend bias trades and the continuation trades, which are all part of staying in the trend. We track those, and we track them from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. Now today, we took 28.5 points. Took us 18 trades to do that. We had some stop outs. We had some other trades that we took smaller profits than what we would really have liked, but we ended up overall with a positive day. So pretty happy about that. Our win-loss ratio today was 78%. The other category that we track is for those traders who like to trade maybe less time, a minimal amount of time. We evaluate 9:30 to noon, and that's taking all of the signals, whether it's a trend bias, a continuation, consensus, or momentum signal. And today, we actually netted out to 0 on that on 7 trades. It's okay. It's just kind of the nature of what was presented and offered to us. We try to make it a practice to just follow the signals without a lot of emotion attached to it. Follow the signals and practice consistency, like being a robot, where you just take the signals. We've had a couple of examples in the last few days where people said, hey, I started down a certain number of points, like down 17 points this morning, and I finished the day up 45 points. Today we had somebody that said that they were down quite a bit in the morning, but they finished positive for the day. And that being down can be a weight on a trader's emotions and start to interfere with their ability to continue to press forward. One of the most common things that happens is they either give up, say, oh, today's not the day for me, instead of pressing on. Another thing that can happen is they start altering their strategy because they're down, so this must not be working, so I need to randomly do something else. And one of the reasons that I track this data the way I do and present it to you at the end of each trading day is so that you can start to see, as I am seeing, what level of consistency there is in overall performance. Consistency means that there are going to be winning days and there are going to be losing days. And what does that overall average look like? And it helps with a trader, for a trader to be able to move forward and go, okay, I'm just going to continue to take the signals. And I realize that the overall average is still nicely, strongly positive when I'm trading the NASDAQ 100 futures. So that is one way that we help and encourage you to continue to stay the course, is by sharing with you what the overall performance is. The second way we help you is by sharing with you what the personal trading plan looks like. So I'm going to share that with you in just a moment, but the personal trading plan is a tool that we created where at the end of each day you're going to take your performance, profit or loss performance, and you're going to plug it into your personal trading plan. And you're going to then be able to see in the context of a 12-month forecast what your income could potentially be over a 12-month period. So if you plug your performance in and you lost today or you didn't make anything today, you're only going to be concerned about that in the context of the big picture. Now we're 7.5 weeks into tracking our personal trading plan on behalf of the live trading room here using the adaptive entry system. So 7.5 weeks in, we're bound to have some losses. We actually plan for one losing day a week. We just plan that. Now, it may happen more than that. It may happen less than that. But we put a plan out there that says we anticipate having losing days. And if you can build a future income over a 12-month period by blending together your wins and your losses and still have a nice, comfortable income that you would be satisfied with, then you are a successful and winning trader. And if that's not the case, then there might be some additional training you need. You might need to invest some more time in sim trading, some more time in our Q&As and in our live trading room to ask questions, clarify how to move forward to be a successful trader. Anybody can be a successful trader. It's just a matter of what discipline do you have to follow a set of rules and giving yourself enough time to really understand how to do that properly. So let me jump over to our personal trading plan here. And the first category is our all signals category, 9:30 to noon. Everything that's shaded in blue is a completed day. I've already actually entered the information over here. It's very easy to enter. 0. We made 0 today, but we did have 7 trades, and today we were trading 3 contracts. So there's 21 contracts that were traded, and that means that we end up with a net loss of $84. Okay, not a big deal. We didn't add to our loss, and we didn't add to our profits. What's more important to me is this information up here. And Aaron was so kind to add a couple of other fields for me that just makes it really simple for me to help you understand where we are at any given time. So this number right here, this 27.8, is what our actual winning day average is. So for every day that we have won, every day that has been a positive, profitable day, it averages out to 27.8 points per day. And each point on the NQ futures is worth $20. Each losing day that we have had averages out to 13.45 points per losing day at $20 a point. Now we make the assumption that we're going to lose at an average of 1 day per week. If that average increases, we may need to adjust our forecast. If that average decreases, we also might want to adjust our forecast. So the other 2 data fields that Aaron added for me here, just very quickly, for the benefit of all of you and me to be able to, in these end-of-day reviews, quickly assess where we are, is that we are 7.5 weeks into our 12-month personal trading plan. 7.5 weeks into our 12-month plan. We've actually now had 10 losing days. Well, first thing I notice is that's greater than 7.5 because or 8, let's just say. So we have a slightly higher losing number of days than we had planned in our forecast. Now, that's okay. I mean, we certainly don't want to continue to see that, but I can't always control that if I'm being diligent about following the signals. But what I can do is have a very realistic forecast going forward about where my income might be over a 12-month period. And when I say I mean you as a trader. If I started with $5,000 in the account and I'm willing to allocate 10% of my account balance at any given time to the number of contracts that I'm trading, and each contract requires $500 of margin, it means that I need $1,500 of margin to trade 3 contracts. And if I'm only using no more than 10% of my account balance, I have to have at least $15,000 in my account. Okay, so I am planning based on those factors as well as how many winning days and how many losing days I'm going to have. So this gets my attention right here that we've had 10, not 8 losing days. Now, in fairness, a couple of those losing days are pretty minimal. Today, we lost 1.4 points. That's not huge. But we've had a couple of bigger ones. We had one that we lost 47 points. Here we lost 1.95 points. So I'm not going to get laser focused on the individual detail of those. What I'm more interested in is this average. And that is the average across the number of days, but it is exceeding in terms of days, the number of days that I had planned in my forecast. So I'm going to increase my plan for losing days to 17.7. And the reason I'm doing that is because although my average is 13.45, I want to increase my losing average to correspond to the number of days that I have actually had losses. All right, so 17.7, that's our plan for losing days. And we're going to leave our plan for winning days alone for right now. And we'll adjust that going forward if we need to. Technically, we should probably make it a bit less because we have a couple additional losing days, but for right now, I'm going to leave that alone. And what that's giving us is an overall forecast of $280,000, $280,000 of potential income, combining all those factors. So the way to interpret this is very simply, yeah, our run rate on losses is a little bigger, a little greater than what we had planned. Our maximum number of contracts is still capped at 3, which is ultra conservative, because as we get out here further in time, our actual percentage of our total account balance is far less than 10%. So we have the ability to increase that if we choose to. You could up that to 4 contracts if you wanted to. 364,000 could potentially be your income. But we have a lot of time still out in front of us past the first 7.5 weeks, right? This is a 52-week plan. So for now, I'm going to leave that at 3. In the other category, where we trade trend bias and continuation signals, we did 28.5 points. So we were positive 28.5 points today, and it's $20 a point, and we're trading 3 contracts. So it's 28.5 times 20 times 3. So our profit was $1,710 today. And we did 18 trades and 3 contracts per trade, $54 contracts. So we go through exactly the same exercise. We're going to go back up to the top here, and we're going to take a look at our average winning days and our average losing days. And we're going to make sure that our forecast going forward is reasonable. All right, so we're 7.5 weeks into our 52-week trading plan. We've had 6 losing days that are averaging 16.87. So that means that we have a run rate on losing days that's slightly less than what we had originally forecast. So for now, I'm going to leave the future forecast at 16.9 because that is a conservative forecast. It's actually slightly more conservative than our actual run rate. So I'm going to leave that alone. Our positive winning day average is 34.98. And I've got our future forecast at 35.3. I'm just going to slightly tweak it down to 35. I'm going to tweak it down to 35 so that it is right in line with our actual average. And then I'm going to leave our contracts at a 3 contract max, although I can increase it to the degree that it stays below 10% of the account balance. And that gives me a future forecast of $381,000. for a 12-month period. That will continue to change. This process of going through and updating your future forecast in cells E5 and E6 is the most important thing you do after trading and entering today's performance in your spreadsheet. If you have great winning days, well, that feels really good, but you know what? That's not where your average is going to be. If you have bigger losing days, we had a big losing day back here a couple of weeks ago. We lost 59.2 points. Well, that doesn't feel very good, especially when you see that number at 3 contracts, and then you start telling yourself all sorts of stories about, well, maybe I can't do this, or maybe this doesn't work. You just plug it into your trading plan that is based on 12 months, and it's telling you what your actual run rate is, and you can find tremendous peace of mind knowing that you can have those losing days, you can have really great winning days, but the only thing that matters is what your overall average is. So if you could actually go from $5,000 to $381,000 in 12 months, I think most people would be very happy. That is not pie in the sky at all. If you don't understand what I'm talking about and you just come into this conversation right now, you may think that I'm a lunatic to believe that you could possibly do that. But the reality is it's nothing more than science, which is the science of the technical signals. You're going to take the technical signals that we've created in the adaptive entry system, and you're going to take profits as we discuss, and you're going to take losses as we discuss. At the end of the day, you're going to record it in your personal trading plan, and you're going to let your personal trading plan help you decide help you know exactly what that's going to look like in 12 months. Okay, so that's the summary for today. I appreciate everybody being here.